It's spooky season, and while there's a whole lot of monster action figures out there, I want more. Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome back to a very spooktacular episode of the Strong Collectors podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, and in honor of spooky season, we're going to be talking a little bit about monsters. Now, we do have a lot of cool monsters, horror-type figures we get from Marvel Legends, with those kind of corners of the Marvel world. However, for me to scratch that monster itch, I got to go a little bit outside of that line, and that line I usually go with is NECA. I don't know if everyone out there collects NECA. I think they're worth looking into just because they do, for what you get. I think the sculpts are really cool. You get a lot of accessories and just overall pretty quality figures, not as dynamic as your Legends, but I don't think they always need to be. In particular, I love the Universal monsters, and I've got quite a few of those in my collection. However, there's some that we're missing, and I'm going to give you my wish list for Universal monster figures from NECA I'd like to see coming up. Now first, the one I want to see is going to be a 2-pack, and this would be a 2-pack from the Bride of Frankenstein, and you're going to be getting Dr. Pretorius with Henry Frankenstein. Now, Dr. Pretorius is revealed in this movie to be like the mentor to Frankenstein, kind of taught him what he knows. I think he's a pretty cool character. We haven't seen him yet as a figure. We get a lot of monsters. Sometimes we do get the more civilian-y types, but I think this would be a really cool character to get. He makes little like people in jars, kind of as part of his like research that Henry Frankenstein, I believe, kind of takes and expands, of course, into, or he was more like making dead bodies. Pretorius just generates people, but they're little tiny. So you could get little tiny people in jars as fun accessories. And then, of course, Henry Frankenstein, because we've gotten lots of Frankenstein, different versions, but you need the creator of Frankenstein. So that's going to be a 2-pack with the two of them together to round out your Frankenstein collection. Another one that I think we need to see is Abraham Van Helsing from the original Dracula. And this is the guy who teaches everybody about how to kill Dracula, and he's more of the scholarly, older professor type, but I think he would be a cool figure to get as well. So I imagine him coming single-packed, just as he is, but Abraham Van Helsing would be a pretty cool pick. And then a third one, I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon, one of my all-time favorites. I've got the NECA of him. I got a piggy bank of him somewhere. I love this character, and we've gotten his more standard classic look, but I think what would be really cool would be his look from The Creature Walks Among Us. And this is the one where the creature gets all messed up, so they do some surgery on him, and he kind of becomes more man-like, and he actually goes around wearing a shirt and some pants. So until Marvel Legends gives me my Amphibian, I'm going to keep asking here for more creature figures from NECA, but I will keep asking Marvel Legends to give me some more monster figures. But the Creature Walks Among Us look, I think, would be a pretty cool one to get. And then I would like to see another 2-pack, and this is going to be from Son of Frankenstein, which is one of the Frankenstein follow-ups, and I'd like to see this one as a 2-pack with Igor and Frankenstein. Now, Igor is probably a little different from what you've heard of from Igor. He's actually played by Bela Lugosi, who played Dracula, but he is more living in the castle. It's like Henry Frankenstein's son comes back, and Igor finds him, befriends him, and he's kind of pulling the strings. He's sort of the evil character of that. Not really like Frankenstein, kind of his sidekick a little bit, but not what you normally see. But you also get a version of Frankenstein in there that we've gotten some different statues and things, but not NECA, where he's got like the fur vest. And I don't know who else out there is excited about Frankenstein in a fur vest, but I think he makes it work, and I'd like to see that as a figure coming in a 2-pack. And finally, I think we're due for a original Hunchback of Notre Dame, because we've seen the old school Phantom of the Opera, Lon Chaney, but the real classic Lon Chaney appearance is the original Phantom look, which some other toy lines have done, but NECA has not tackled it yet, and I'd like to see that from them. Well, I'm listing off all these different figures I'd like to be seeing. I have a list with two things on it, and it's those who are watching who are subscribed and those who are not subscribed. If you're watching, there's a good chance you like what you're seeing, and if you like what you're seeing, please hit subscribe. It's very easy. One click of a button helps us out, encourages us, make sure, we're not just speaking into the void. But we know people are listening. But we'd really appreciate it, folks, and it, just really makes our day. So thank you. Back to the show. And as I was going through this list, doing some thinking on ones I'd want to see, I started thinking it'd be cool to get some more modern figures. One toy line that I think would be cool to see from is Van Helsing. I was a big fan of Van Helsing as a kid. Recently rewatched it. My wife had never seen it, and I gotta say, folks, I think it holds up pretty well. It's a perfect time for it. If you haven't seen it, even if you have, go give it a watch. It's got Hugh Jackman. Back in his, heyday of Wolverine time, he took a crack at Van Helsing. And I had some figures from these back in the day. Looking back at photos of them, they look quite horrible. I had like one, maybe two. I wanted more, but I'm sure I would have been disappointed. But I think NECA could do a pretty cool job giving you like a Van Helsing with those little spinny blades he's got. I thought he had a cool Frankenstein design in that movie. Dracula looked absolutely awesome. Dakota would love him. He's got huge wings. At that point, maybe Four Horsemen could take a crack at it. You got some werewolf designs that are really fun. So I think those would be some cool figures to get. I don't know if NECA would necessarily... I think NECA could do it, but maybe they'd be fun to get more dynamic. Maybe Jada. We've been liking Jada toys lately. Could they start doing movie stuff? Maybe. Because I also think the Mummy would be fun. Getting like a Brendan Fraser Mummy, Imhotep, some of those kind of ones. I'm basically just very desperate for more monster figures, folks. So anyone who can give me that, I'm willing to take a look. Those Operation Monster Force, I've seen them, still haven't gotten them. If everybody has those, let me know, because I'm a little hesitant on taking the plunge. I don't quite know what we're getting there. But those are some that I've looked at before. I'm always hoping for some kind of Lovecraftian monsters, too, whoever that's from. And then Marvel Legends, I've got a lengthy wish list I could give you for that, but at this point, I don't know if this is still content in this episode. I don't know if this is getting cut out. Dakota will keep it in. But I'm just thinking about monsters now. So I really do want that Amphibian. I want the Living Mummy. I want a Dracula, like a classic Dracula from Legends. Oh, man. Obviously, Werewolf by Night's coming. I think he looks alright. New Elsa Bloodstone. I want Baron Blood. He'd be a cool monster guy to have. Frankencastle, of course. I'm going to ask for him every day of every year until Hasbro gives him to me. So that's a little Marvel Legends immediate off the top of my head monster wish list, but I'm sure there's many more I could come up with. So those are some monster figures that I'd like to see, ones that are on my list that I'm really hoping for. You let me know in the comments, folks, who of you do collect NECA? If you do, if you like the Universal Monster stuff, I'd love to hear from you. I know that I'm not alone out here in dabbling in both these lines. So please be liking, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, as always, stay strong and stay spooky. Figures, I think they're really great as far as sculpt go. The accessories you get, they're always really pretty fully loaded, like a fully loaded nacho. And I don't know if this is dumb. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm talking about fully loaded nachos. Man, you gotta relax.